All right, we're recording now, so all the fun stuff we have to stop or own up to anyway.
Be held accountable for.
No, this is America. No one's held accountable for anything. Just you have a little Democrat voter card and you get out of jail free with that. Just take what you want. No problem. Dan, we're ready.
Here we go.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of Firing Line Radio Show. I hope you're having a great day out there. It's another fantastic day in Southern California, as they all are. Everything except our government. But we the way it is, it's got to work through it, folks. Hey, this week I want to tell you a little bit about what happened last week. I actually was invited out to Avenal Gun Club. Avenal Gun Club is a really cool place. It's in the middle of nowhere, near Coalinga, which is actually the center of nowhere. So it's in the middle of nowhere, next to the center of nowhere, in the middle of the state, right off the 5 freeway. But what's nice about this range is every month they do a long range shoot. A match. You know, it's really laid back. It's a lot of fun. Most of the guys shoot at PRS style. There's a hunter style or prone style if you want, but targets range anything from, I think the closest was 300 and something yards all the way out to 900. So there's multiple cross canyon shots, uphill, downhill. You're reading different winds from right to left and up and down. And I tell you what, it's a lot of fun, and a lot of really good people are out there. So why is that important? Well, you know, we were out there with Accutac bipods, which I used on many of the stages, and it was really, really helpful to have that solid of a bipod. Accutac, ACCU-TAC.com, made out here in Rancho Cucamonga, the most amazing stable bipods you're ever going to have. I love those things. Plus there's like 40 different styles that the guy makes. So that's Felipe Salazar. We thank him for his support. Also, we were able to donate a Proof Research discount card. So we get pro cards from Proof Research, their product sponsor, Firing Line Radio Show. I use their barrels. I love them. I wish I had more of them, but they're a great barrel. So the discount card that we gave gives somebody 30% off of whatever they want. They can get a pre-fit barrel. They can get a carbon fiber barrel. Yeah, Proof makes pre-fit barrels even for Rugers. They make them for Ruger Precision Rifle. They make them for Savages. They make them for all the different custom barrel or custom action, Defiance and so forth. But they don't make them just for your stock Remington. Why? Because your tolerances are too loose. So you can, if you have a custom action, you can probably get a screw-on barrel from them perfectly. They make stainless steel and they make carbon fiber. I shoot both, and I like both of them. Carbon fiber is the one I took to Alaska for my sheep hunt, and I have a carbon fiber on that gun, and I have one on a 6.5 STW, which is a screaming little Magnum, and I have several of their stainless steel barrels, which I think are fantastic too. So Proof Research, proofresearch.com. If you stay tuned, we might have some more giveaways coming up on that this spring, as if we ever get our website finally fixed, and you know who I'm talking to out there, we'll be able to give this stuff away and put it on there for sale. So thank you for my product sponsors there, Accutac and Proof Research barrels. So that was Avenal. Had a very good time out there, came back down and then had to get back into the world. It's amazing how you have a weekend off and you're enjoying yourself and a little bit of freedom and smell some burning gunpowder in the wind, and then you come back and it's California all over again. And frankly, folks, we are living in a very dangerous state. There's two classes of lawlessness in our state. One are the criminals. We all see them. The second are our administrative district attorneys. And we're seeing them too. So we're seeing the fact that the district attorneys do not want to prosecute for almost anything. And the people who are the criminals say, this is great, everything's free, and our crime waves are surging. So we know, you know, that you need to protect yourself, you need to protect your family and your loved ones in every position you have. And that's why we are super, super strong supporters of your right to carry a concealed weapon. Now, in California, depending upon the county that you live in, you may have a little more difficult time than others to secure a concealed weapons permit. We do not have open carry. Even if the gun is unloaded, you do not have open carry. You will be arrested for that. It's not arguing right or wrong or Second Amendment. That's the way the law is right now. If you do that, you will have an issue. If you carry concealed carry without a permit, you will also have an issue. So the last thing you want to do is get on the bad side of one of these anti-gun district attorneys who are refusing to prosecute or hold people in with bail who are murderers, and they'll throw the absolute book at you. If you don't believe me, just do a replay of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and see what self-defense looks like when you have to defend yourself. And that is why we are very glad to re-inform you that CCW SAFE is one of our sponsors. Now, CCW SAFE is an amazing program that helps you. First you have to fight for your life. Now you have to fight for your freedoms, especially in California. And so I have Rob High. Rob High is over there at CCW SAFE. He and I do the CCW SAFE podcast on a weekly basis. If you haven't seen those, it's ccwsafe.com. We spell it ccwsafe.com. It's no hyphens. Anyway, so that's the way that goes. Rob, how are you doing today?
And I'm doing fantastic, buddy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, we haven't even really announced on our show that we've been doing those CCW SAFE podcasts, but a lot of great information that we've been able to share out there. And the other thing I wanted to do is, because in California, our gun community is fairly fractured. People shoot this style, that style, don't shoot at all. They're friends, small groups, whatever. But word of mouth is an important thing. So we want to try and reach as many people as possible in those small little fractured groups and let them know what is available as far as protection is concerned, why it's important, and how does it compare with everything else we see on the streets. There's, you walk into a gun store, there's so-and-so insurance program sitting on the counter, and it's kind of sold like Amway, where the gun store owner gets $50 if you sign up. So it's like, yeah, sign up for this. It's great. But those coverages are really where the rubber meets the road. And I'm going to count on you, my friend, to go over some of that with us and make sure we're completely clear and concise and precise, getting the people the information they need.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We really kind of press forward on the service that we offer for our members. There's other people in the industry that are going to badmouth and point fingers and don't do this, don't do that. Our biggest deal is I just need you to understand what we can do for you. I don't know if Stan or Mike or anybody has ever touched on it on your show before, but we actually came into being because our CEO, Mike Darter, was a police officer and he was involved in a shooting. It ended up going to a civil trial, a couple of years down the road. And when he left law enforcement, he had this thought that, oh my gosh, if I was ever forced to defend myself again, I would bankrupt myself trying to defend myself. And that thought spurned CCW SAFE. It's what we grew from. And instead of trying to make something fresh and brand new, we had a model in place already, the police union base or the model, which, if an officer's involved in a shooting, you get investigators coming to your scene, crime scene reconstruction is coming to your scene, use of force experts, attorneys, all of these things come into play. Chaplain services if you need it, counseling services if you need it. And we put all those things together and packaged them for our members as well. The bonus is we pay all of your legal expenses. We pay criminal, we pay for all the civil, all the court costs, expert witnesses, attorney fees, jury consultants, anything and everything you can think of that goes and pieces together for a successful defense in a self-defense incident. And we've seen, I've worked cases myself where we've had guys that were defending their lives, and because of small town politics or whatever, they wind up being charged with a crime. And the first one I ever worked in the civilian realm, I'm a retired police detective. The first one I worked in the civilian realm cost the man more than $600,000. And I believe that he was acquitted in 2014. And when I found out what his cost was, I called Mike and Stan immediately and said, I got to join. I don't even care what it cost, because I travel, I take my family places, we usually drive. And if I was in that position where I was backed into a corner and had to defend myself, I could never have done it. I mean, I would have lost everything that I had. So the product that you get, the services that come with that are huge. Another piece of the puzzle for us is if, I'm in Oklahoma, I'm a member in Oklahoma, anywhere that I can legally carry a gun, I'm covered. Any state that my state has reciprocity with, I'm covered. Several companies out there will cover you in your state, but I got to spend extra money if I want to go to another state, if I want to cover outside my home state.
Let's talk about that right now. So in California, a lot of people are getting several different styles of CCWs. For instance, if you have the California, it's only good for California. If you have the Arizona, I think it's good for 17 or 37 states or something of that nature. So all of a sudden you can expand it. So you're saying that your coverage, no matter where I am, as long as I'm legally able to carry, you have the coverage.
Yes.
So what about constitutional carry states? That's automatic, right?
For the time being, constitutional carry covers you in your state. But there are so many states that are falling in line with that and moving that direction. There's several that are up right now. I can't remember which one it was the other day that their governor basically just said, "Put it on my desk, I'll sign it."
Yeah, look, you gotta love that. I think it was not Gavin Newsom. Hey, folks, Philip Naiman, Firing Line Radio Show. Check us out at firinglineradio.com for the podcast. We'll be right back with CCW Safe, Rob High, after this. Yeah, Gavin Newsom was hanging out with Magic Johnson without his mask. Oh, wow. Well, we're still under a statewide mandate to wear the mask. Not that we do, but anyway. So you got to think about this guy, the selfishness and the hubris of Gavin Newsom. Mr. Johnson, if I remember correctly, and I hope I'm not saying it incorrectly, but I think he retired from the NBA because of health issues. He had a certain virus that showed up that was a major concern and that could destroy somebody's health, right? Is that your recollection? So if this COVID-19 21 Omicron hike virus is that bad, and you were the governor of a state who's already been caught with your pants down at a French Laundry, and you're at a very public event like the NFC Championship, only a few people there, only a few people watching, no cameras, and you're running around without your mask, and you're talking to somebody who has a potentially comprised immune system, what did you just do? The hubris of Gavin Newsom is so unbelievable that we know that Mr. Johnson has an issue. If he had one iota that this thing was really dangerous, he would be purposely, intentionally putting him at risk. Yeah, that's my governor. And we couldn't get rid of him with a recall. The stupid runs deep in California. It's pathetic. All right. We're recording this in Prescott, Arizona now, so we'll be back and forth for a while. All right. So we just talked about that. Let's go over one more time about the 100% cost, because it's not just your lawyer's fees. So I want to pick it up. I want to talk about that. Do a little bit of a sponsorship for Bullseye Sports here, and then we'll pick it up right on that. Okay.
Here we go.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. See this? This is my boomstick.
Hey, folks, welcome back to Boomstick Radio. Philip Naiman here. FiringLineRadio.com is where the podcasts are at, but you know that already. And you know what else you know? You know that every week, Bullseye Sports, Guns and Ammo in Riverside is going to be out there working for you. Vince is doing his best to get all kinds of supplies in, ammos, guns, estate sales, everything you need just to live a happier life. And frankly, guys, let's look at it. Are you that happy? You know, you could probably use a little bit more happiness in your life. And how are you going to do that? Head on over to Bullseye Sports, Guns and Ammo in Riverside between Arlington and Central off of Brockton. Say hello to Vince. Buy 2 of everything because it's all cheap. And then you will have instant happiness in your life. No karma, but instant happiness. So we're all about the gratification here at Firing Line Radio Show. Check them out at bullseyesport.com, 951-823-0211, 951-823-0211. Ask them about the 100% discount. It may have expired already, but you can still ask. Okay, folks, Philip Naiman, Firing Line Radio Show, back here with Rob High at CCW Safe, ccwsafe.com. Rob, we've been doing podcasts with CCW Safe for about 6 months now.
That's correct.
Yeah. So those podcasts are specifically detailed for concealed carry. They're specifically detailed for incidents, what to do, how to prepare, how to train yourself. And so, folks, if you want to see that, there's some great information over there. I say great information because Rob does all the talking on that show at ccwsafe.com, ccwsafe.com. Look up our podcast there. It's a lot of fun too. So, and don't be offended if someone says that criminals are cowards. That might have happened somewhere. All right. So coming back here, you made a comment on our last session that I think really needs to be developed. You said that you cover all costs for legal defense. Now, in somebody's mind who hasn't had to deal with legal defense, they're like, oh, well, lawyers' fees, well, those can be expensive, but that's not all the costs that are incurred. And if your lawyer is just saying, well, here's my fee, that's what it's going to cost to defend you, you've got the wrong guy, right? You actually have a business as a use of force, or part of your business there at CCW Safe is you are a use of force expert. So let's talk about the associated costs. You know, first you fight for your life. Now you're fighting for your freedom and your financial future. So let's explain some of that, please.
There's so many things that go into that. You know, it was so critical in the Rittenhouse case. You brought that up earlier, to have a jury consultant in place, somebody that's sitting there as they're going through the selection process for potential jurors, and to be able to have somebody in the room that can immediately start vetting some people. And, you know, all of a sudden I come across and go, oh man, this guy is not, he's going to be friendly to this issue. Those are big deals. Yes, your attorney is expensive. A good attorney is always going to be expensive. That's where your cost is. But another cost is with your experts, a use of force expert, a crime scene reconstructionist, a shooting reconstructionist, all of those guys. Nobody is going to do that for anything less than $200 an hour, and it goes up to $800 an hour. Those people are really expensive. I've worked cases that my hours were billed into almost 100 hours. That's just an absurd amount of money. So,
but look what's on the line.
Absolutely it is.
And so you have to pay it. If you are the person who defended himself against some dirtbag that Gascon and Gavin Newsom let out of jail, and you can't sue them because that's where the laws are, even though they put this predator back out on the street. Now you're dealing with it and you've had to defend yourself in whatever manner. And now you're paying, you're being forced to pay this for your freedom. Your other choice was you could die and let them do whatever to your family. But now, this is a serious consequence of having to defend your life because of the political ramifications that we have in California, where we do not penalize bad people for anything. I think we actually move them up in office. It's like they're really, really bad. They automatically get like a state appointment to a board of something. We only reward decadence in the state. Am I digressing? Anyway, so one of the things your jury consultant you talked about, I went to a seminar once where a jury consultant was talking. Actually, she read people, and her main thing was working as a jury consultant. And she did a screen of a bunch of different people when they were taking their oaths to be sworn in for jury trial. She said, I can tell if they're going to lie or not, or what they're going to be like. And the person who put his hand forward with his fingers together, like in front of his body, she said, he's like the Boy Scout. He wants to tell you everything. And then if somebody was just normal and the hand was straight up, it's like, that's a normal person. If their fingers were split, they were deceptive, and you really would have to be coy with your questions with them. And if their hand was curved, and she showed examples of all of these, if their fingers were curved over the top and fingers split, then they were planning on lying to you. And so they showed that picture, and then she panned out to who was doing the testimony. It was Bill Clinton. So, I did not have sex with Hillary. Can you blame me? So, it's, come on, guys. I need a little slack on that one. It is important that you have those experts because people have tells. You watch the poker games. These people have these poker tournaments, and they all pretty much mask up and have glasses and hats down because they don't want anybody to read their face, because you do have a tell if you're not being honest. And that's where the consultant can help you filter those out. And if they're not on the jury to begin with, man, that's how much of that is already the case.
Yeah, it's huge. It's the difference between incarceration and freedom. It's just crazy how many things that you wouldn't know about. There are companies in the industry that will do a reimbursement. So you go pay for everything, and then once you've got successful resolution at the end, they give you a check.
That's if you had the $600,000 to fight it to begin with.
Correct.
And remember, okay, so my business, Cornerstone Christian Wealth Management, right? We focus on retirement planning. We know kind of the taxation rules. Most don't have $600,000 laying around in cash, okay? Maybe it's an equity in the home. Maybe part of it's an equity in the home. Maybe it's in a retirement plan. So let's look at this. If you have to take the money out of your retirement plan, because that's all the cash you have, and you have to do this or you're going to go to jail for defending your life because Gavin Newsom lets felons out. Yes, Gavin Newsom lets felons out of jail. If that's the way it is, you're going to pay income tax on the money you're taking out to defend your life. And I don't know if those legal fees in that particular case are even deductible. But anyway, so you're going to be destroying your retirement plan, paying excesses and taxes. And if you're under 59 and a half, an additional 10% penalty, which in this gentleman's case could be $60,000 just in IRS penalties, just so you could stay out of jail because the felon, Gavin Newsom, left out of jail, caused you to defend yourself. Have I said that enough? Should I bring that up? Does it look like a sore point to me? Maybe.
I don't know that you can say it or not.
Folks, Philip Naiman Firing Line Radio Show. We'll be right back after this. And yes, it is all Gavin Newsom's fault. Close personal friend of somebody else. Danny?
I'm here. You stopped a minute and a half early.
You hit the chat.
No, I did that. I was asking.
Oh, shoot. I just saw the button come up. Let's go back to that. Gavin
Well, that's
Newsom's
all right, because we
fault.
were 2 minutes over before. Or so let me figure this
See?
out. I took 30 seconds off. So crap. My brain isn't working. So a minute and a half.
This is the fun part.
So yeah, okay. I'll put it's about 10:30 for each segment now.
Oh, we're back to normal.
Pretty much.
The problem is if I go over too long, he condenses everything, and I already have a squeaky voice, but then I sound like Mickey Mouse. I think he does that on purpose. He lets me go long so he can squeeze it down.
Me.
And then he laughs.
I wouldn't do that on purpose. Never.
He doesn't.
All right.
It was easier when we were in the studio and I had guns in the other room. You were a lot better behaved,
I was much.
Dan.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not stupid. Well, I am stupid, but I'm not that stupid. Let's put it that way. All right.
The good old days, the halcyon days of Sad Burning Ghetto Studio.
No, but you never had any weapons in here. It's against Salem policy. Just so
that was true. Those were all fantastically accurate sound effects you dug up online.
I worked hard on that. All right. Especially the clicking sound. You don't do that now that you're in the home studio. Wife is a higher authority, I bet.
There's 4 rifles over there. There's a pistol over here. Which one do you want to see?
No, but you have to cock it.
I have to actually walk over there. That looks like work.
Yeah, but see, your wife probably doesn't let you do that in the house.
She's not here.
Oh, well, she wouldn't know. Well, yeah, that's true.
I think I got it under control.
All right. You ready?
Yes. What was that, Rob?
So we'd know what she was because she'd be singing.
That's true.
That's true. All right, here we go.
Spartans! Lay down your weapons! Come and get them!
Hey, folks, welcome back to Firing Line Radio Show. This segment is brought to you by CCW SAFE. CCW SAFE is the protection you need. As a matter of fact, I think we'll talk about it this entire show. How's that? We have been talking about it. I have Rob High here from CCW SAFE. They've been sponsors on the show for a long time. Matter of fact, California is their biggest membership state. So you guys are listening, you're doing the right thing, you're getting the right protection. And if you follow along on our YouTube page, I'm going to put this up here. You'll see a chart. This chart was done by concealedcarry.com. Rob, what was the gentleman's name who put that together?
Jacob Paulson and his crew out there.
Jacob Paulson and Guardian Nation. And he put all those things he did a comparison of each of the different plans that are out there. Now, some call themselves insurance, some call themselves legal plans. There's a distinction there for corporate governance, let's just call it that, and state laws of how you need to present yourself. But it's the coverage that is the important thing. And so on the coverage, we want to do a quick comparison. So I'm going to flip this up here. And Rob, if you could be so kind as to go through it with us, we will talk about this as I put on my glasses. So there's several different companies out there. One of them that we see a lot is US Law Shield. Okay, USCCA, you hear about those. So those are probably the 2 main ones that I've seen the most of out here. US Law Shield, I believe that's one that actually pays kind of like a commission to whoever sells it, kind of like a Amway or a multi-level kind of a thing. So here's what they've got here. It's $131 a year as of the date of this chart. Bail bond premium coverage varies by state. They choose your attorney. Criminal defense attorney fees are covered, no limit. Civil defense attorney fees covered, no limit. Civil damages, no. Appeals covered, yes. So let's just go with yours compared to theirs, okay?
Okay. We have plans that start at $209 a year. Again, that would cover everything that you've got as far as your criminal defense costs, civil defense costs. Again, as we were discussing, all of the extras that are included as well with your experts and jury consultants and all of that. Our line plan is $519 for the year. It covers both husband and wife.
And any minors living in the home, right?
and anybody. Well, actually, all of our coverages will cover spouse and minor children inside the home. The ultimate plan, which is our top plan, also our deepest discounted plan, has all of the same unlimited coverages, but it also will cover the first $1 million in civil liability if there was a judgment against you. And those are monetary judgments in civil court. So we can add a civil liability policy or plan with any membership plan that we have. The plan itself, just for the civil liability, is $220. So that's even more expensive than just our base package coming in, the Defender plan.
So the other thing that's important on here, the recoupment costs. So another one that's a very popular plan out there is USCCA. If you're following along at home here, they have a recoupment clause. Now, what does that mean?
You know, that's something that's pretty new for them. Slid that in a year ago, I think. We had a flood of people come from over there, and basically is, if we go to trial and we're working through this and you take a plea and plead guilty on something, or if you lose the case, they have the right to recoup the monies that they have spent. So I'm not exactly sure how that's coverage, but it's like a sucker bet, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So if you take a plea because it's offered to you, then all of a sudden you're on the hook for the cash.
Can be. Yes, absolutely.
Can be. Yeah. So expert witnesses, on some of them, it varies by state. Any legal weapon. Now, here's an interesting thing. Any legal weapon, right? That's a distinction between of all the plans. Any legal weapon. So if you have an illegal weapon, you know, touch on that.
Well, as far as our coverage, it can be any weapon of opportunity. So, I mean, if you pick up a lawn ornament to defend yourself, and
those gnomes are deadly.
I'm telling you. But truly, it's one of those that, you know, if we were at the house and in the kitchen and somebody crashes through and I'm not anywhere near a firearm, you know, all of a sudden my family's in jeopardy and I pick up a knife out of a butcher block or something, I'm covered.
Or you could throw your ex-wife's cooking at them.
Ooh, wow. I wouldn't do that.
Sorry.
It's any weapon. It's all a weapon.
Weapon of opportunity on our plan, but most everybody is going to say legal weapon. You know, if you're jumping in and you've got an SBR that you're not authorized to have, or you've got a sawed-off shotgun that you are prohibited from owning or anything like that, it's an illegal weapon. So
yeah, we don't. You're not our listeners. Go away. Don't be stupid. We don't allow stupidity on there. This is to help people who are in a jam because they were forced to defend themselves. This is not stupid insurance. So if you're stupid, you have to go somewhere else. 24-hour emergency hotline, that's super important, because if something were to happen, you know, you make the call. What do you advise people from the beginning? Something happens, I have to defend myself. It's a good thing I talked to Rob last week, because Rob told me to do this.
Well, very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be the one to report it to the police.
So critical. So critical.
It is critical. And I'm going to give a brief statement. I had to defend myself. I was in fear for my life. This happened. Please send emergency medical and police. You know, give them your location. If it's safe to secure your firearm, secure it. Don't have it while they arrive. Don't
wave it around. Say, hey, I'm over here.
Yeah, I mean, that's tragic that, you know, we had the deal last year where the guy saved somebody in Colorado, and is holding a firearm when police arrive, and he was shot and killed. That's just absolute worst case scenario ever. I can't even imagine what that officer feels like. Where were we at? I just sidetracked myself.
No, we were talking about some of those different things. So spouse and family covered, we went over that. Payout up front or reimbursement. So you're on an upfront payment on that.
No, we cover the cost, and there's a difference because there are other people in the industry that will just cut you a check. You go do all the stuff, they'll give you the money for it. The issue with that is unless you do this for a living, you have no earthly idea where to start. We are the only people in the industry that have successfully defended somebody that was charged with murder, Stephen Maddox. And Stephen will be the first one to tell you that had somebody just gave him a blank check, he wouldn't have had a clue where to start. So our national trial counsel is Don West. He's an amazing self-defense attorney. He's one of the best in the entire country.
Yep.
And Don will be the guy that goes out and secures your legal representation for you. That's a huge first step. Something that a lot of people don't understand is not giving a statement when law enforcement arrives. This happened, blah, blah, blah. I had to defend myself. As they're on the scene, I would tell them right out of the box, I want to be fully cooperative with you guys. I want to let you know what happened. But I was just involved in something I'm really shaken up, and I'm going to wait until I have my legal counsel with me. That's really important right there, just in and of itself, because as somebody that's an innocent, I want so badly to explain to you what happened. I want you to know that everything was okay. I only did what I had to do. And you just can't do it like that. You just cannot. So
exactly. So, the one thing that's important about that, and we'll talk about more when we come back, is what to say, how to do it, and what your rights are. And, we're talking about the good guy syndrome where you want to tell your story, but this is not the day and the time. Folks, Philip Naiman, Firing Line Radio Show. Find these podcasts out at firinglineradio.com and check out CCWs at ccwsafe.com. Right back after this.
All right. Roll into number
Quattro.
And I 4. Yeah, 4 is Quattro. See, no hablo español. Here we go.
Gringo.
All right, I'm going to try again. Here we go.
Yes! Great hunter. Yes?
Yes.
Fine figure of a man. Yes? Yes?
Yes.
That is all you need to know for now.
Hey, folks, welcome back to Firing Line Radio Show. Philip Naiman here with my special guest, Rob High. Rob High of CCW Safe. ccwsafe.com. It's where you need to go for your family's protection, because as we say this too often, you fight for your life, then you fight for your freedom, then you fight for your financial freedom. And unfortunately, that's the way things are. It's what we're dealing with, but CCW Safe has a way to help you with that. We were just talking about after an incident. So let's do a hypothetical. I am barely doing nothing. I barely got here. And some bad guy comes and does some things, and I do some things. Now the cops are involved. All right. So when an officer shows up, if you are innocent, it is in your nature to want to explain every single thing. First, he did this, then he did this. The problem is, if you've just been involved in a life or death situation, your adrenaline, also known as the stupid hormone, was running through, more of it's been dumped into your body than you know how to contain. That's why you're so chatty all of a sudden. And then it starts leaving your body and your emotions change and you sob and you have these big old, it's a physical thing. It happens all the time. It doesn't mean you're weak. It just means that the adrenaline's now leaving your body. Elvis has left the party and you've had these huge emotional swings. The problem is, every single thing you say, trying to be helpful, will be minced, cut, codified, cubed. They'll find the square root of every word and hold every single thing against you. You said he came at you with a knife in his right hand, but here's the video, it's in his left hand. You're a liar. These little things. So it is really important that you lawyer up immediately. And Rob, you had a gentle way to say this.
Where are you going with that, brother?
If you're involved in an incident and the detective rolls up right off the bat, you're a detective. What do? Hey, man, are you okay? Hey, buddy. Hey, man, tell me what happened. You're right. Hey, wow. Hey, nice shooting. What happened? And they want to get them talking because that's their job. And then they can close out this case and go get a donut. I know it's not fair, but
there's something to be said for that. I want to get this closed out as quickly as I can. I want to do a proper investigation. And so the steps that I'll have you kind of keep in mind is the incident occurs. I want to be the first one to call 911. I want to give very basic information.
And the 911 operator is trained to keep you on the phone, keep you talking.
As long as they can. And so I'm going to give basic information. I'm going to request police and emergency medical. And then I'm going to tell them I have to disconnect. I need to make sure that I'm still safe. I'm going to disconnect. And then I'm calling the emergency line for CCW SAFE because that notification is immediate.
Put that in your phone, guys.
And that goes all the way down our critical response team. So the ownership, Don West gets contacted first. The ownership group and our president are right in behind that. Gary Eastridge and I are right in behind that. And in the event you're involved in an incident that results in great bodily injury or death, we're coming out to you. We're sending a team to you. We're going to help you through that. As the investigator gets there on scene or the first police officer or whoever, I'll identify who I am. I'll give them all pertinent information like that. My name, my address, all of that stuff is—
Give me your driver's license.
Yeah, that's benign. That's not going to get me in trouble. But I am going to let them know I'm really shaken up. I've just been involved in a horrible incident and I'm really upset. I want to cooperate fully, but I'm not going to make any statements until my attorney is present. That's enough. That's all you need to say right there. Because from that point forward, unless I re-engage, because I can
mess it up.
I can invoke my right and then re-engage, and then again, whatever I say can be used. So
there is no off the record.
No, there really is not. It's just really important to understand that even at that, I may have somebody that really can't figure out what's going on at the scene, or they don't, maybe it's a new guy that just doesn't want to mess up. And all of a sudden they say, well, if you don't talk to me tonight, you're going to be arrested. You're going to go over to the county jail. Okay, go spend a night in county. That's okay. I'd way rather you spend a night uncomfortable in a county jail than say something that we can't take back, that you've said things that are going to be, we have false memories in traumatic events. That it just happens. That's why most law enforcement agencies now will give an officer 3 sleep cycles before they bring him in to question him on a shooting, because you want everything to come back and for them to be able to give a statement with as much clarity and honesty and as they possibly can. And if I do it right, then you're going to get somebody that's still an emotional wreck. They're just a nightmare. So,
and so here's the here's an issue from the officer's point of view. 24 hours, however long their shift is, every single person they talk to is lying to them. I did a couple of ride-alongs, and I'm like, holy, how do you guys put up with this? You know, the lying, the lie. So he rolls up on a scene. Guess what? After 15 years on the job, his predomination is you're a liar.
Yeah.
Because he's got, 10,000 interviews of liars, and everybody he runs into is a liar. And so if you say, hey, I meant this, I said that, you're a liar. And so it's hard to break that cycle. And the best thing to do is to lawyer up and do what you said, give them the pertinent information they need and nothing more. And it's going to be very difficult, because I don't want to spend the night in county jail. And as you go to jail, the guy sitting there talking next to you, asking you what happened, you probably don't want to be talking to him either. It's very important that you just trust that you'll get out of there as quickly as possible. Now, don't hire the lawyers that Kyle Rittenhouse did when they were keeping him in for 85 days so they could raise money on him. Okay, don't hire those guys. Get a hold of CCW Safe. Put their number in your phone. You call 911. You call that. Just say, hey, got an incident. Here's who I am, my membership number, whatever. And they'll send help.
That's another thing about that. That Rittenhouse case has got a price tag on it in the area of $2 million. That's an enormous cost. If he had been old enough to be a member of CCW Safe, and he's in a recognized self-defense incident, and a jury found him that he was, his cost, if he had the defender plan, his out-of-pocket would have been $209. That's what his defense would have cost. Stephen Maddox had, the company was over $400,000 into that defense. Mm-hmm. His cost him what his annual membership cost him. That's what it cost. We
talked about Stephen Maddox with Stan several times. Now, the issue is, had he just been given the money to find his own defense, how do you find who's a good, you can grab your local phone book and say, who's good next to me? Well, that might work if you're in a big city where there's lots of shootings. What if you're in a normal sized town and you don't have local experts or a plethora of them to search through? I mean, you're really hamstringing yourself. And to not go with just the basic defender plan, 209, what is that, $17.41 a month? I think that's about the price of a chicken salad at the local diner right now. So it's extremely expensive compared to the risks. We're all about taking risks, right? And risk reward analysis, what I meant to say. You don't want to take a risk unnecessarily. Well, for $17.43 a month, what are you risking? You're risking your financial future. As a financial advisor, my financial advice, get yourself covered. So I think we're going to have a discount code coming up on ccwsafe.com, firing line. It hasn't been implemented yet, but it will be soon. So when you get on there, you type in firing line as a discount code. We should be able to save you some money on that, and or at least on some of the plans. So we're working on it, I should say. I wanted to announce it for this show since I have Rob here. And I'm spending his money in saying this. I think it's important that we get it out there, but we will have a code going forward on that.
No, it's one of those that it can save your family for a generation. I mean, it's just one of those. I've watched these guys that have leveraged everything, like Phil was saying. They've mortgaged their house, they've cashed in their retirement accounts, they've done everything they can just to stay out of prison.
Yeah. And then you get to start all over. Folks, I want to thank my very special guest, Rob High, CCW Safe. Hey, catch us over there together on the podcast for CCW. That's actually at ccwsafe.com. So maybe we should say that again. ccwsafe.com. Rob High is doing a great job out there. He's the use of force expert, and I enjoy doing the shows with him. Rob, say hi to everybody over there. You guys be safe. God bless.
Thank you.